Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Dad and Buried podcast. My name is Mike, a.k.a. Dad and Buried.
Is it?
What do you mean, is it?
That's how you.
That's my That's my Instagram. It's not how I refer to myself. It's the name of the podcast. It's my Instagram handle.
You literally sent a text that said, "I'll be 5 minutes late," and then you said,
"Sign off, Dad and Buried." Well, look, we're not that close. You don't actually know my real name, which is a fun fact.
It's funny. I was like, "New phone, who dis?"
New phone, who dis? And I said, "Fucking Dad and Buried." Guess what? You know who that is. I'm fucking famous as shit.
Nate, is this
I
you?
did my third cameo this weekend. Cameo is an app. People, if you want to cameo me, pay a couple of bucks. I'll send you a little personalized video message like I did to the world's biggest, literally biggest CFL fan, Paul Opolsky, for his birthday. Happy birthday, Paul. You're welcome for your cameo.
Okay,
what a lovely wife he has.
Whoever's listening, please don't ever encourage Mike to
cameo.
To cameo.
It's the most awkward thing in the world. The best way to make me feel uncomfortable is to request a cameo from me. I did it at the playground. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, man. Why do you care about a video message from me?
I might just request a cameo from you.
You should.
Just to be like, hey, Mike.
Cha-ching for me, man. Joke's on you.
You haven't responded to my email.
Yeah. Here's a cameo. $15 to respond to my email. Anyway.
Show up on time.
So I run the Dad and Buried Instagram account, the blog. I also run this podcast. Pete and Nate are here, I think, for various reasons.
Are you sure
Nate has real reasons. Pete is kind of here.
Yeah.
He's going to say some nonsense in a few minutes every once in a while.
Yeah, just kind of the more like the brains behind the operation. But
it was your idea tonight to tackle the vaccination episode. Vaccinations, if you are new to life and to parenting, very hot topic in the parenting community. 99% of people understand that vaccinating your kids is a good thing for your kids and for other people's kids and for society in general, and 1% don't.
Yeah.
So
they're
tonight
very vocal.
They're
about
very vocal. The not that. What's the opposite of silent?
The
vocal minority.
Yep. There we go.
The silent majority is the political phrase, but the vocal minority is that the opposite of that?
That would be the opposite, but that's not a phrase until now.
Not a phrase until I just fucking coined it.
Oh my god!
Just like I coined Dad and Buried.
What a wonderful gift you've given the world.
You know what? You're welcome, world. Okay. So tonight, that's what we're going to be talking about. Pete does not believe in vaccinations. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, science can go fuck itself. I think we all believe
science
that, right? I mean,
can fuck itself.
Oh, please. Like, seatbelts are really a thing? Give me a break.
Yeah, seriously. My father-in-law doesn't believe in seatbelts. He said that fucking statement to me.
You know what?
He said, I don't wear a seatbelt. And I said, why not? He said, I don't believe in them.
Yeah, you know why? Because I don't need Uncle Sam telling me
that I don't want to die.
Exactly.
Right?
That's why I smoke 4 packs of cigarettes a minute, which is hard to do. You've seen the Guinness Book of Records where the guy's like this?
Yeah, that's you?
That's me every 5 minutes. And people are like, who is that dick?
You know who C. Everett Koop is or was?
No.
He was a former Surgeon General. I saw him in an airport once.
I only know.
I believe he's in a wheelchair.
RG.
He looked kind of like Santa Claus.
I made that up. Okay. All right. So
That's
Santa Claus. Santa Claus.
That was my whole story.
So our former Surgeon General of the United States,
former Surgeon General,
like
from
Santa
like the
Claus.
Reagan administration.
Did you do this clap like with your palms go
what
together?
What is that
and your
clap?
thing? It's like your palms go
You're
together.
You're making fun of people who clap like that?
No, I'm making fun
clap,
of you.
I clap with my left hand.
It was like, oh, there's
like
a Surgeon General looks like a Santa Claus.
Like I'm clapping like a seal. No, like I said something to him.
And you go, Santa Claus seal.
I think I said something to him like,
Surgeon
Doctor.
General.
Like I went like, Doctor, something like that. And he was like, get the fucking whippersnapper. He was not pleased.
Did he take your
either with
finger
life or with
bend
me.
It? Yeah.
Anyway, so we'll be addressing him tonight and why he is pro-vaccines. We will not be addressing him. He looks shocked.
Yeah,
by that.
no. First of all,
there's not going to be any facts tonight. This is all going to be
ladies and
passionate common sense.
Let's tell them a little bit about our process. So this is obviously a very touchy subject. We've when we were talking about this, we wanted to talk about considering both points.
Considering is not a word.
Considering.
Thank you.
Obviously, I can't speak, but that's why we
don't
have.
Speak.
Just shut don't. So we considered what we did is we took a lot of consideration on both sides, and then we realized, fuck that, we've got our own podcast. Let's blow these motherfuckers up.
We're doing one side because there is only one side, motherfuckers.
It's called Truth, Justice, and the Scientific Method.
Damn straight, bitch.
Which is
science, bitch.
It's
watched
not
fucking El Camino.
Not just for the bedroom.
Science in the bedroom?
Yeah, I practice scientific method.
All right. Whatever. Yeah. So obviously, if you've never been here before, you've turned it off already. And if you have been here before, thank you for coming back. If you like what you hear, you can support us via your words or your wallet. You can spread the word. You can rate us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts so that more beleaguered parents like yourselves. Is there another kind of parent? I don't think there is. We're all beleaguered.
You know what? There's like a top 1/1% that's like really happy that has.
Well, they have
kids.
nannies, yeah,
and they have nannies,
right?
Yeah.
You can write a review if you want, but ratings are frankly more important.
Yeah,
just click. We made it to 100 ratings, which is why we're doing a controversial topic. We let you guys choose from. You submitted some suggestions for those topics, and then we narrowed them down to 3, and then I let you guys vote. And vaccination/anti-vaxxers is what won. When we get to 200 ratings, we're gonna do this episode again. We're just gonna rerun it. We're not even gonna record anything. All right. So let's get those 200 ratings up there. We're at like 115 right now. You can go to, if you want to comment on specific episodes, we're going to read some user comments on previous episodes at the end of this. And our new segment sponsored by Kinder Perfect. If you go to Amazon or kinderperfect.com and enter 20 off Daddy, you get a discount on their hilarious Cards Against Humanity for Parents game. And you can leave comments on individual episodes there on YouTube. And you can obviously subscribe on iTunes and everywhere else. And you can throw us some money on Patreon or Anchor. Or you can even buy a Dad and Buried... Not the koozies yet. Koozies are for patrons.
Those are patrons. Come on.
Look at the moon, man. That moon's pretty bright behind your head. Is that a full moon?
That's actually the reflection of that light.
You can go to my link tree on Instagram.com, which is the links to everything, including our merch shop, all right?
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Okay.
Bitch, right? I don't know why I'm being antagonistic towards people I'm asking for things.
Really
Give me stuff, bitch.
Dick.
Do things for me.
You know what, Mike? You're an American, and that's your God-given right.
You're damn right.
To be a total
free
prick.
Speech. So we do have a handful of Patreon supporters that we call patrons. I coined that one too. I coined the vocal minority. I coined Dad and Buried, and I coined patrons.
You're coining everything.
I made up the word patron just now.
Okay.
For people who support us on Patreon.
Yeah.
On the single dad tier, Chris Coleman, Miriam, MS Babayan, M Gabe VW1 period. I'll never get over that. Check your kids at the door. Check out his meme account.
Oh no, wait, sorry, hold on a second.
I'm sorry.
So
is that M Cedeno?
Yes, changed it to
M Gabe is actually M Cedeno 1980. So thank you.
Thank you.
You know what? Mockery does work. It gets results.
I think
that's what we're hoping for tonight. When we mock the anti-vaxxers, hopefully
all of a sudden they're going to be
vaccinating.
So angry. They're going to be like, wait a second.
Those two assholes who didn't say anything but yell at us, they were right.
They were right.
They were right.
I found it in my soul. I just realized it.
Deep in my
yeah.
I was going to say something you said earlier, and I'm not going to bring that up again.
Try not to.
Dad bod tiered Barbara Geiger and Morning
don't forget to check your kids
Glow.
at the door, my man.
I said that, and I said he has a funny meme account. Go follow it.
Okay.
Now he just got a double shout out.
Okay.
God damn it.
Well.
Father figure tier Julie McCarthy, my old friend Joseph Diachason, known as Sarge. And the Collector, I'm saying you brought the Collector because he buys a lot of our merchandise.
Well, that's what he's changed his handle to on Patreon. So
he changed his handle to the Collector.
It's cool.
It's kind of creepy. There's a weird serial killer movie called The Collector, which I'm not saying there's any association. I'm just saying connotations are tricky these days,
listen,
Sarge.
You too can be a collector of our merch.
That's right. If you go to my link tree.
There's nothing we won't
Paul
show.
Apolsky, the world's biggest CFL fan, and the guy whose wife wanted a cameo from me.
You know what?
A personalized video message.
We love you, Paul.
Via the Cameo app.
We love all of you.
Jennifer Wynn as well. World's Greatest Dad tier, Mary Williams. Thank you very much.
So much.
The My New Dad tier, Sarah. Desiree Kissling. You gotta be. We do that every time. It's our theme song. You gotta be. I should have listened to the song so I can remember the lyric.
Yep.
You gotta be stronger. And then Monica, who's brand new. Thank you, Monica.
Thank you, Monica.
No relation to the fictional character from the popular 90s sitcom Friends. I'm guessing. Monica Chandler, Monica Ross.
You don't think this person is related to Monica
Shenandler
Ross?
Bing. I don't think she's related to a fictional character. No.
Have you seen this?
Never know.
Have you seen the meme that's going on, which is acquaintances, which is like
pictures? It's a fake Friends thing? No.
It's really funny.
I would like to check it out. Hey, forward that to me. dadandburied@gmail.com.
Yeah, I don't have.
You don't have email? I don't have email. I hooked up with a girl once. I asked her for a number. She said, I don't have a number. That's a true story.
Ouch. Yeah,
I don't have a number. I started laughing. I literally started laughing. Almost as funny as the time some other girl told me I look like Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm like, just say something fucking believable.
Didn't you go on to marry both of those people?
I did, both of them. Yeah. I'm still married to one of them. The one without a phone number. In your face.
Yeah. Mom and Buried.
In your face, Mama Berry.
Yeah, that's really that's on her name, which is tough.
So thanks to all you patrons.
Yes, thank you so much.
We really appreciate it. We hope we don't alienate any of you with our entire episode of ranting against anti-vaxxers. But if you are an anti-vaxxer, guess what? Don't want your money.
No, but I feel
how about that in your face?
No, but at the
you
same
do.
time,
We do actually want your money and your ratings.
Yeah, we're super sorry.
We're not going to be mean, right? And when we are mean, it's because people have been mean to us, and shit rolls downhill. That's just how it works. It's the American way.
And that's how it goes.
Trauma breeds trauma.
And the American shit rolls downhill.
It's happening to all of us, isn't it?
Fucking goddamn it! I know.
So yeah, I think that's everything. Stay tuned. Near the end, we're gonna do some YouTube comments in our new Kinder Perfect sponsored segment.
Yes.
Go to Amazon or kinderperfect.com and write 20 off Daddy. Yeah. And you'll get a. You know what? It's not kinky. Don't make it weird, Pete.
You know what?
The word Daddy has just become weird.
I know. I think the thing that made it really weird when it first came about was because you were hugging me so close.
I know, but it just really makes me feel things. When you call me Daddy.
Well, I felt something. So.
And All right. So we're going to get into it in about a minute.
Anti-vaccinations. Coming back.
There's not such a thing as an anti-vaccination.
Anti-vax.
There are people who are anti-vaccinations. And guess what?
We're about to get in it.
Get all up in that shit.
And welcome back to Dateline. This episode of Anti-Vax. All right, let's just start this off.
It's a whole series of Dateline Anti-Vax is like a whole new spin-off.
It's just
one episode. Every episode is a different anti-vaxxer. What the fuck are you thinking?
You're just interviewing every single one.
Well, there's what, 7?
Yeah,
they're all going to be on the Instagram comments
for this. All from Ukraine. No offense to Ukraine, but a little bit. Okay, so here's the deal. Let's just get this straight right up in front. If you are anti-vax, meaning you don't believe in vaccinations, ipso facto, the default means you therefore also believe that the world is flat and that climate change is not a thing, which is
ipso facto.
Yeah, it is fucking ipso facto.
I think the Venn diagram,
guess what,
probably has a pretty solid overlap.
First of all, ipso facto is Latin.
I understand. Vini vidi vici. Okay,
how
about that? Up your ass with the fucking Ghostbusters reference. Anyway, we came, we saw, we kicked its ass. Fucking Bill Murray in the house. Anyway, the Venn diagram. I think there's probably a pretty strong overlap between people that don't believe in vaccinations and don't believe in climate change.
Also,
and believe in flat Earths. Because they don't trust science, I think is the implication there.
Yeah.
They don't.
Well, but here's the thing.
And they think the government is lying to them and or has nefarious underlying motives.
But what I'm saying is, what I'm postulating, that's correct, is that it doesn't matter whether you consider yourself not a flat earther. You are by default.
You are lumped into that group of people.
Because you are simply denying the scientific facts that are present, which is that
I understand
there is no correlation.
I know, but that doesn't necessarily, just because you don't believe in one thing doesn't mean you don't believe in another. But I know what you're saying. You're saying all of these kinds of people are lumped into kind of one big group.
Mike, we made it very clear that
at the beginning. You said ipso facto.
We're
sorry.
Gonna say whatever the fuck we want, because guess what? It's our podcast.
Well, yeah, no, but I can call you out when you're being
a fucking idiot,
obtuse.
Okay,
Shawshank.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Andy,
I wanted to start this off at the top real quick. So I was doing some research. And guess what?
What?
I did some fucking research.
You son
I did.
Of a bitch.
You know what that meant? I read a couple of paragraphs of 2 articles.
Oh my god!
Fucking copied and pasted
So you went deep.
I went real deep.
Okay.
I don't got a lot of time. I got kids. I got a job. I got a podcast.
And you do all of those things very poorly.
All of the same. Yeah, exactly.
Like there's
this
not
is the problem,
one
right?
of those things that's even
not
very
even close
good.
to up to snuff.
No.
Right? My kids hate me. My wife is like, what
and
the fuck
job,
is happening?
Most of the time they're like,
My job hasn't figured it out yet.
They're just
It's very early.
What is amazing is your propensity to actually get Pornhub installed. And just
I reached out to IT. Can we get Pornhub? Can it be my homepage?
Listen, it's not Pornhub. You're through a VPN. You're banging off China. You're coming back through.
Banging off China.
Yeah,
wow,
like you're
very
coming back
apt
through
terminology.
Romania, and that's where you're getting
Romania.
it from.
You got a real problem with the Eastern Bloc.
I don't.
You throw out some Ukraine.
But you know what? Yeah. Well, I love the Ukraine for different reasons. But listen,
we don't need to get into those.
No,
Estella Warren.
Yeah.
Planet of the Apes reboot. Anyway, so obviously, if you didn't know, this episode is about vaccinations.
No one knows what we're
so
talking about.
I wanted to read a couple of things. I found out during my research today that the United States may, this month, lose its World Health Organization designation as a country that has eliminated measles. Because there have been so many measles outbreaks, many of which have been in Brooklyn, where we are recording this podcast as we speak. We're both wearing hazmat suits right now.
In the form of gingham shirts,
Because of anti-vaxxers and people who refuse to vaccinate.
Yes.
Look, the people that have medical reasons for not vaccinating or religious reasons, you know what? I'm not even going to put the religious reasons in that because that's a whole different ball game. Mm-hmm. We're going to get into our whole religion. Episode 1000, all religion.
We're going to lay
the whole
it,
thing.
Yeah,
we're going to lay it fucking all out. But there are some people who have legitimate reasons for not vaccinating. Most of them don't, and they have just subscribed to some kind of quack science or non-science that they believe. And that is why measles is on the rise and is coming back because they're refusing to vaccinate. So the MMR vaccine rates are falling all over the country. They have slipped nationally to 94.3%. The third year in a row they have dropped. So 94% of the country vaccinates for the MMR, which is measles, mumps, and rubella.
Yep.
6% is a lot of people that don't. Kansas, 89%. New Hampshire, 92%. District of Columbia, 81%. That's our politicians are so stupid. That's why they're not doing it.
Yeah, I bet.
The highest is West Virginia at 98.4.
But hold on a second. Do you
wow, West Virginia really does it up.
Politicians wouldn't even come close to making up any.
No. The District of Columbia, they don't live there. No,
I know.
No.
So, but
it's just a joke about politicians being stupid.
I know.
We're going to get more into that in our 500th episode. All politics. Remember?
And entertainment at the same time.
Well, you know what? The line has blurred.
You know what? We don't even.
We have a reality star for president.
Yeah, exactly.
So look, me and Pete, agree that not vaccinating your kids is not only stupid, it's dangerous.
And can we just take a second to just come and just say this, that this is the first time I think we've fully agreed on anything.
I think it is too.
Isn't it? When I was
we both agree your haircut's stupid.
Oh, well.
Right?
That's
my haircut? So does Nate, so that's all three.
Oh, you know what? Is it unanimous? Is it unanimous? Shit. I hate this podcast. No, but so I think that when we sat down, I assumed you were pro-anti-vax.
You thought I was... Don't say pro-anti-vax. Just say that I was anti-vax.
You were anti-vax. And you assumed that I was anti-vax.
I assumed you were anti-pro-vax.
And it was only...
See how stupid that is?
Only after we embraced each other, like fully.
And then you said, Daddy.
And you said...
Come in here, Daddy.
Come here, 20% off Daddy, whatever.
20 off Daddy on kinderperfect.com and also Amazon.
And that's when I knew that you were not...
That I was not pro-anti-vax. Yeah, exactly. That I was actually anti-anti-vax.
Precisely.
All right, so look, we got a lot of comments. It's a very passionate subject matter, which is why we chose it. Yeah. Pete really wanted to get into something down and dirty.
Let's get into it.
And we're getting into it, right? So before we get into some of the comments, we had a couple of... long ones at the top. So Brogan Mallet, I guarantee you it's not Mallet. Brogan Mallet is a nurse, and she's learned so much about vaccines, how they work, and how they're made. And it makes her incredibly frustrated when people aren't vaccinating their kids, knowingly exposing them to potential illnesses that could have been prevented. She is 100% pro-vaccine. Educate yourselves, people. Get off the fucking internet unless you are rating our podcast. No response even to that.
I'm deep into the comment. I'm literally deep
Get
into
off the fucking
comment.
internet that tells you they get you sick, cause autism, or we don't know what's in them. They protect you and people around you, especially those that can't get vaccinated due to compromised immune systems. You know who has a compromised immune system? Mom and buried. Multiple sclerosis. Schools want to make it so you cannot attend unless you're vaccinated. Fuck yeah. That's an issue here in Brooklyn recently because so many parents were not vaccinating their kids, and New York was like, fuck that.
Yeah,
Guess
fuck
what?
That. You gotta.
People have such issues with big pharma, except if they need it for like something smaller than the vaccination debate, like an infection, and they need antibiotics, something like that. Something they have no problem with it.
Or any sort of headache medicine or NyQuil or
anything.
Like
Guess
anything.
what? You need your fucking contacts rinsed with Bausch and Lomb. Big fucking pharma. Does that count?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all counts.
It all fucking
I'm sorry.
counts.
You have diabetes type 1 and you need to take your blood and measure your A1C. Guess what? You need big pharma.
I don't even know what
shit.
words you just said there.
Yeah, well, it's if you have type 1 or
so
type 2.
we're not trying to demonize anybody.
No.
We're trying to educate, because that's what this podcast is all about.
Right.
Education,
and we're also
and
sponsored,
responsibility and research.
Yeah, but we're not definitely sponsored by Big Pharma.
We are not sponsored by Big Pharma. We would not turn down their money.
Listen, if you are Big Pharma and you're
please
out there,
reach out.
We would love it.
So Cordy Jane 111, she's a nice person.
Okay.
She reached out to me and she said she is for vaccinations, but she does not like Big Pharma. She recently read about a mom who was a pediatric nurse, and while she agrees with vaccines as well, she has her own method on how her kids should receive them. In a nutshell, she ensures that her kids aren't sick at all. Fuck that. That sentence makes no sense. There is no way to ensure that your kids aren't sick at all. You know what the best way to ensure your kids don't get sick is? Vac-fucking-scenes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, she
Also,
goes on to say she has them on a
homeschool.
super healthy diet. Yeah.
Come
right.
on.
Taking probiotics and like an immune system boost, a vitamin, and they receive only one vaccine at a time. And after they get the vaccine, they continue with the immune system boost. Elderberries was mentioned. Isn't that in fucking Holy Grail?
Yeah.
Someone's
father.
Your father. I'm not sure about how she handled the 2 years and under vaccinations. In my opinion, I think for someone who is looking for that middle ground, as in not loading the kids up with vaccines all at once, that scenario or method isn't bad. Look, I told you I did some research.
Unbelievably.
Among the myths are that having too many vaccines at once is a problem for like babies and stuff.
Right.
And the Center for Disease Control or publichealth.com or whatever, I read it, I don't know, mad fucking magazine, but it's still true, said babies can handle all that shit. That's not an issue. Like the amount of shit that they get, they would need to take like 10,000 vaccines at once for it to be like an issue, right? The body knows what it's doing. You think the body knows what it's doing, and that's one of the like anti-vaxxers arguments. The body can do it itself, but then they don't think the body can handle vaccinations. A little contradictory. But that idea that you can prevent your kids from getting sick by like giving them elderberry or putting them on a healthy diet, that's not how illness works.
It makes absolutely no sense. And if you've ever seen someone with polio or have any sort of polio is a totally preventable disease now
because there's a vaccine. Thank you, Jonas Salk.
Yeah, thank you. And FDR was not a recipient of it, and despite that,
ouch! Wow, throwing stones.
No, you know what?
Coming hard at FDR.
He was a real son of a bitch for his New Deal and his bringing
that
back
fucking New Deal. God
prosperity.
damn it! Yeah, I like the Depression.
WW2.
From what I've read about it, it sounds cool.
No, but the point is that these kids. I mean, have you seen this iron lung situation?
I have seen it,
with the whole that's what was happening prior to vaccines.
You see Forrest Gump when his legs didn't work.
You vaccinate your kids. You get it's just there's certain things that you got to do. And a vaccination has been the World Health Organization.
Yes.
Now, let me just take a step back.
Oh no.
So here's where I think this stuff. What's funny about this is this isn't
There's
like
nothing funny about it.
Right.
How about that?
Well, there is some.
I'm coming at it from the fucking not funny tip.
Well, there's on the both sides. Like you kind of it's almost like a circle that kind of meets in the middle because you have people on
meets in the middle.
Yeah, so you have a line that kind of bends, and then the circle
comes.
It's a
circle that completes this.
Exactly.
Doesn't make any sense.
And so people who are far right, who are like, no, the government, I'm not into that, and then people on the far left who are like, you know what?
Libertarians.
Yeah, just like I want my body. Yeah, just let me.
I want my body too. You're crushing this point.
You're right here.
You're really nailing it.
And the point is that if you don't fucking vaccinate your kids are going to die. And
that's your point.
Yeah.
You give me the circle meets in the middle, and then if you don't vaccinate your kids are going to die. First of all, that's not true. There are plenty of kids who have not been vaccinated that don't get harmed, but that's not the point. The point is by not vaccinating your kids, you're putting them at risk, and you're putting other people at risk. And sure, look, I don't begrudge you for being like, my kid's getting too many shots, too many weird shit's getting put in their bodies, right? This isn't the fucking Matrix, right? They're not like plugging you to a machine. The government doesn't have some nefarious fucking agenda where they're trying to pump kids up with formaldehyde and mercury. That's not the fucking point. What they want is to make you live so you can pay taxes.
Exactly. That's the thing.
Jesus Christ.
Think about that.
So Fraggle07 says, I think vaccines are important. All these people that come in and they're kind of equivocating, right? They try to be like, all right, look, we know this guy is anti-vax. I mean, I'm pro-vax. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Like you were saying earlier. Yeah. I'm anti-pro-vax. I'm pro-anti-vax. Right, I don't even know what you're saying. He said, I think vaccines are important, especially when you're young, but I feel like they really overload the system. First of all, I've read that doesn't happen. Second of all, think about it like this. Some people have allergies, right? You may be allergic to strawberries, and if you eat them, you have a bad reaction. But I'm not allergic, so I would be fine. We don't know when babies are very young what their individual systems can handle. You know what no babies can handle? Fucking polio. Right? Most kids handle all the vaccines fine. Their bodies filter out the bad shit and everything is good. But maybe one kid's system just can't filter out all the bad stuff as quickly or completely. Sure, that's true. But you can't know that.
Or how about smallpox?
So you want to gamble? Exactly. So you want to gamble being like, my kid might be one in the fucking million who can't handle a vaccine. So I'm going to not give him the vaccine because maybe he won't get one of these other diseases that vaccines prevent. Then the child gets more vaccines in a few months and more, and it just kind of builds up in their system, all the bad stuff in vaccines. Fraggle07? Yeah. What's all the bad stuff in vaccines?
Guess what? Have you done a shot of mercury? It's fucking delicious.
It fucking sends you on a wicked trip.
First of all, I don't even remember where I went that weekend.
So then he says, or she says, I vaccinated my kids, thank you, but chose a more spaced out approach with my second child. Just my thoughts. So look, you can talk to your doctor, your pediatrician, and be like, look, I don't want the overload. We can do it in bits and pieces, and that works. They'll do that, right? That's not the point. The point is you shouldn't just be, and you can refuse them. Yeah. Right. And then people are like, they shouldn't be mandated. No. You know what? The reason they're fucking mandated is because people aren't doing them. Right. The ones they need to do. And then measles is coming back and kids are fucking dying. That's why they're getting mandated. You're shooting yourselves in the foot.
Yeah, and parents are too. I think we got ours spaced out for a couple of different kids just because it's first of all, getting 3 shots in one day.
If you need to make yourself comfortable, you can work with your doctor, right? But the point isn't that you need to like pump 800 fucking needles into your kid's brain the day they're born, right? That's not what's happening. Yeah, but it's for their own good and everyone else's, the greater good, as I like to call it. I think I just coined a new phrase.
I don't think that's
the greater
true.
Good. No. Nate, what's the ruling on that?
Okay, Mike, let's get back to my circle analogy. So the circle is both a square and a line.
So look.
Okay.
So look, again, these people are writing in good faith, right? And again, we're not trying to demonize anybody. We're just saying like a lot of the shit that their so-called evidence or like their anecdotal stories for why vaccines are bad or don't work.
Well, this is the thing about this anecdotal, right? Where it's now come into popular culture where where there's an alternative out there that no one's can latch on to. That science has overlooked this thing.
This sounds interesting. Look, that guy's pissed too.
It does.
So Matisse Mud wrote in it and basically threw out like the 5 of the biggest claims that the anti-vaxxers say. Right. They say unsafe ingredients like formaldehyde, mercury, or aluminum vaccines. But guess what? Yes, these things are toxic, but there's hardly any in the approved vaccines. So like such a minor amount that it's not going to do any harm. Unsafe schedule we just talked about. The immune system can never really be overwhelmed. The cells are constantly being replenished. I told you I did research. Babies are exposed to countless bacteria and virus every day. Have you ever been on the subway?
Have you been to your house? I
took my subway home. Exactly. My kid's been to daycare. Guess what? Yeah. I'd rather the vaccine.
Well, I was about to say, has anyone eaten any food whatsoever? Like
ever?
All formaldehyde, mercury, aluminum, all that shit. That all of these things.
Yes, your kid is getting exposed to shit all the time. So number 3, he says, known efficacy, not 100%. Oh, okay. No, it's only 98%. It's only 92%. All right. At what point Does it make sense?
Right.
Maybe if it were 8% or 42%, sure. But yeah, guess what? Somebody else said later, they made an analogy. They're like, it's like birth control. It's not 100% effective, but it's still your fucking best shot, right? Number 4, he said not FDA tested. Yeah, they are. They are FDA tested.
That's not true.
And number 5, he said the vaccine makers are protected from lawsuits. And the reason they're protected, so there's like a vaccine court, right? They have their own kind of tribunal that weighs in. The reason they're protected from lawsuits is because so many people are fucking suing, or if they allowed so many people to sue for punitive damages, then our vaccine system would fucking collapse. We wouldn't have the money to be able to give everybody else vaccines.
Right.
It's because of anti-vaxxers that we need kind of a separate system, because otherwise the entire thing is compromised. And guess what? We're all dead. Every single one of us. We're all dead.
Exactly. But why does this tribunal have to wear really big robes with like hoods
with
on
the
them?
eyes wide shut mask?
That's
Fidelio.
the one part that I don't
The only
quite
way
get.
you can actually sue is by saying Fidelio.
Yeah, and then walking in with a bird mask and a bird
I love
beak.
that. It's so hot.
And then
It's very
slowly
phallic.
like
I love it. You love that phallic shit you told me. Gorilla Rose says it seems like the anti-vaxxers are doing more harm than good by protesting against side effects that inhibit a marginal group of people, right? So one of the so-called side effects we're going to get into is autism, right? As parents, part of our role is to participate in a shared social responsibility for the health and well-being of the next generation. And I don't think that refusing to vaccinate your child necessarily does that. I don't think it does either, Gorilla Rose. It undermines medical and scientific progress that our society largely benefits from and encourages a schism that creates undue risk for many children. I'm not saying that they're wrong. I will say it for you. They're wrong. But I am saying that they may be misinformed by irrational, uneducated, or melodramatic anti-big pharma lobbyists like Jenny McCarthy, per se, Jim Carrey. Robert De Niro even dipped his fucking toes in the anti-vax thing. It was heartbreaking. Couple years ago. Maybe they should consider that vaccinations were created for a purpose and they have protected us for decades.
This is what I'm saying. I think that it's so extreme on both ends.
Yes,
that even
it's the entire American
that,
society.
Yeah, that you think
Polarized.
have common sense. Now, would Robert De Niro ever believe that the world is flat? Of course not. But the point is if you, well, really?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on in his head.
Of course not. Are you looking at him? No, you're not.
Am I looking at him to give me advice?
You looking at me?
Oh, is that what you were doing?
That's what it is.
It's you talking to me, not you looking at me.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't know.
You
I
talking to me?
haven't seen that movie.
You haven't seen it? Get out of here.
I'm waiting for the reboot. But the point
I think it's called Joker, and it's in theaters as we speak.
I think that there is such this aversion to what we know and assume is true. Again, this whole that's what I'm saying.
Well, people
the
think
Earth is flat.
It is flat. You're right about that.
What on earth, or how on earth? This is what I believe happened with this whole Earth is flat, and how we're going to tie it to anti-vax is because I bet you Cambridge Analytica was like, one day was like, watch what we can do.
Yeah,
watch
we're going to put out an ad,
just
and people are going to believe it.
Watch what we can do. We're going to go in and we're going to find all these soft-minded folks who are just don't quite understand. Well, that's kind of what it is.
People that watch Fox News?
Well, I don't know.
Elderly people?
But to be honest with you, it's not. It might be, but it's also other folks who are just susceptible enough to be like, that sounds wrong, so I'm going to believe it, even though all of the information at my disposal says it's completely untrue.
So,
right?
Look, yeah, there's a lot of people out there that will fall for anything.
And well,
right?
this is
nowadays
why I
it's
want
very
to tie
much
it. I want to tie these things together because, quite honestly, it's the same rationale that people are like, "Oh, climate change. Oh, that's just a myth." Guess what? The Earth always goes through these changes and whatnot.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's so much information out there from so many different sources that it's harder to tell the difference between what's real and what's not, what's fake news and what isn't. And then you have various people who are backing the fake news because it suits their agenda or whatever, whether it's climate change or anti-vax or whatever. One of the things I found in my research was like where this anti-vax shit started, and one of it was from this guy, a gastroenterologist or something like that. He's a gastroenterologist. He published a study,
and he was his
that connected autism to vaccines, right? And once it was out there, it was all it. Once it got online somebody picked up on it on social media, all of a sudden that becomes the foundational text, and you can't refute it.
No,
enough people believe it, you can't refute it.
Have you actually read his, like, he's gone on to basically say it was the biggest mistake he's ever made.
Well, he was discredited and imprisoned, wasn't he?
No, it wasn't even that. He was just simply saying there was some potential causation between the two. And then he later went back and was like, actually, there's not.
There's not, right. But it doesn't matter. Once it's out there, exactly. The horse is out of the barn. That's what my dad used to say to me.
Honestly, there is a lot of blood in this basement, is what my dad used to say. And I was like, Dad,
you can't scrub the blood off the walls.
Going down there?
It stains.
And
it's what it's there. So look, we're going to get into the autism thing in a minute because there is no fucking autism thing. But one of the big things we want to get at, look, there are people who need to not get vaccinated because they have compromised immune systems, or they're too young to get some vaccinations, or they're too old, or whatever. And we have, and it was Gorilla Roast said that it's kind of a social pact that we have to kind of protect each other, right? And even if you don't believe in vaccines, you got to do it for everybody else who can't necessarily get them, right? So Kloft627 says, vaccines aren't about you. They're about other people. If you don't vaccinate, you're affecting others. Babies can't receive all the vaccinations, and neither can the elderly. You need to protect yourself so that you can protect others. Don't be selfish. Check Your Kids at the Door says, I understand no flu shot, but the other vaccines are necessary. Think of the children. The little Simpsons. Nate loves that shit. Lulu Tart, the anti-vax people are hurting the children who can't get vaccinated, sick people, newborns. JGM37, anti-vaxxers who don't have a medical reason for it are selfish and put others at risk. Right. And then there are the people like MMM, it's 3M, Mrs. Thompson with 3 M's, Mrs. Thompson. I vaccinate my kid to protect the kids that are too sick to get vaccines. Anti-vaxxers are selfish, right? So that's kind of the whole theme, right? Like, it's not just about you living in a society. Hold on a second.
Stop for a
second. You are obligated.
Hold on. Let's take this, Mrs. Thompson. So this is an interesting topic.
Mrs. Thompson.
I vaccinate my kids to protect the kids that are too sick to get vaccines. So first of all, that's not how any of this works. The way it works is you, as a baby, as an infant, you are given part of the disease so that your body can adjust to it without being sick. So you don't know whether your kid is going to be sick or not, because you're at such a young
preventive.
age. It's
preventative.
And so I think this is an interesting statement because it's also...
but there are some people with compromised immune systems that can't get all the vaccines, and they can get sick from people who aren't vaccinated, who expose them to things.
For sure. But the point being is when you're getting this so I had chickenpox, just to be clear.
Yeah. Well, when we were a kid, there was no vaccine for it.
So I had chickenpox, like I had the actual chickenpox itself, and
Me
it was
too.
a fucking nightmare. It was a shit show.
You scratching it up.
Oh my God, I remember.
Remember the thing used to be, once you get it, you won't get it again.
I got it in my eye, fucking eye.
My dad had shingles.
Something about Mary.
The shingles virus may already be inside you. Did you know that?
You know what? There's so many things that are actually inside of you,
even right now.
No, I'm pointing at you.
Oh, and me. That's true. I like to. You know what? I like to fuck around a little bit.
You like to play. But not with vaccines, and that's a real shame. You should really put.
I should put some more vaccines in me. So Chrissy_Hudson74 makes a good point. She says, so most of the people who have kids now have benefited from being vaccinated, and they're kind of. They are under the cloak of vaccinations, and then they're like, I'm not going to vaccinate my kids because it's some kind of government conspiracy. There's too much formaldehyde. Oh, easy for you to say.
Well, so this is the thing. This is where this line between what we hold as a truth and what is
to be self-evident,
it can be compromised. Yeah, like the Earth. How the fuck can the Earth not be round? Like,
I don't know. You know what? I mean? You just got fed a line by your third grade teacher, and now you fucking believe it. Why don't you get on a sailboat and fucking find out if the Earth is round? Check it out.
This is what's really interesting to me. I don't even understand how people can come to this conclusion.
You don't understand a lot.
Now, here's what I will say is, I do believe that obviously having natural foods and eating whole foods and eating correctly is much better
than like
and
GMOs
very good.
and
yes, of course.
Pesticides.
It's not about like, I don't feel good.
Nate disagrees.
No, he hates. He's honestly,
he hates cavemen.
He has 17 pill boxes that he puts on.
All he does. He doesn't even eat food. He just eats fucking pills.
That's what he said. He's like, here's my banana. Boom. Here's some roast beef.
Look.
Schnozberries taste like snozberries.
Part of it is snozberries. There's no such thing as schnozberries. We are the music makers.
Okay.
We are the dreamers of the dream. Look, it's a lot of this is, and there's a correlation between the people on certain political realm, right, that are political leanings where there's a fundamental distrust of the government, right? So they think that they think that GMOs are a conspiracy. They think vaccines are a conspiracy. They think satellites are a conspiracy. They think all the shit. There's a handful of people who are anti-vaxxers really distrust the government.
Well, can I just say something? So GMO, I grew up in the UK, and GMO was a big thing where it was like non-GMO, so genetically modified, organic, or whatever it was called, organism.
Maybe you should figure that out. Maybe you should do the research.
You know what? I don't have time. I'm too busy. I
want things to be labeled correctly, right? That's my thing. I'll eat GMOs out the fucking ass. You know what? Guess what? There's
That's
some
what
shit
you're
in there.
Into.
I love eating GMOs out the ass. I'm into some kinky stuff.
God, you really are.
There's a lot of, they boost a lot of the positive stuff. Just because it's been modified doesn't necessarily mean it's modified in a negative way. So you just need to know what's been done and what has been changed.
Here's another thing, and we should hold ourselves a little bit accountable. Yeah. Yes, which is so a stance on GMO can be very different from a stance on anti-vax. So, genetically modified, whether you want someone to be eating, it's almost like the difference between organic and non-organic food, right? So one is price versus just being able to like feed your kids healthy food or whatever, right?
Going off the rails a little bit, yes.
Yeah, I don't know. But the point being is that I think what happens is one subject tends to blend into another until they get conflated, right? So what mercury in your, in pesticides and in chemical farming or whatever it might be, then turns into, who's going to put mercury in their body.
Well, mercury in your food is different than mercury being in a vaccine.
Well, so this is where I believe it starts to gain traction, right? Where people are like, why would I even put mercury in my body?
I love it. It's fucking wild.
Do you know what? I'm looking at you, and all of a sudden I see a glint of like, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to vaccinate my kids with all this mercury in my body.
It's easy to fucking fall prey to it, right? So Juanita Franco says the only opinions you should listen to are a doctor's opinions, right? You should be able to choose your doctor, what arm you want the shot in, whether you want the flu shot or not, right? If you're not a medical professional or a health practitioner, then you shouldn't be telling people they shouldn't vaccinate. It's irresponsible, right? If you don't have a medical degree, you shouldn't have an opinion.
Right.
I don't have a medical degree, and I'm going to err on the side of vaccines because when you take vaccines, measles don't come back.
Right.
That's my whole thing. You're proving the fact that all these anti-vaxxers are blowing up and at the same time, all these diseases that have been basically eradicated are coming back is a pretty good indication that anti-vaccinations doesn't work.
Right. So there
anti-vaxxers are wrong.
Additional anecdotal evidence that this is it's causational because anti-vax movement has now led to the rise of the U.S. being taken off the World
Health Organization's list of like safe places to visit.
Worth
it, which is with an E. Worth it says, I'm a nurse. All this anti-vax bullshit is bringing back what was once eradicated. Give my kids all the vaccines. I want to give my kids extra vaccines. I'm with her. So Jacqueline gets back to kind of the information that you get, and a lot of parents are very scared. Jay Quellen, exactly. It's a lot of parents are like, "Oh, we're not getting all the information," but the information is there. You can read the inserts, and the inserts are all the disclaimers. Hey, guess what? It's not going to work 100%. There's trace amounts of fucking formaldehyde and mercury in here. Blah 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 blah.
What do you want? We work in a fireworks shop.
Yeah,
that's where this stuff is made.
You don't know it's going to blow up. She's like, the safety data is available to all in the package inserts. You can get it online.
That's the one thing I will say.
Anti-vaxxers go nuts, though. They say that, you people are sheep. You don't do the research. But the research they're doing is like the fucking dark web or Jenny McCarthy or listening to bullshit that doesn't. So one person said down here, I work with autistic kids. I've worked with autistic students for 10 years. Definitely a link. Oh, there is? Okay. You're a teacher who works with autistic students. Where's your fucking research? Whether you believe in scientists or not, all these fucking scientists do actual tests and research, huge groups, huge studies, control groups.
Hey, Mike.
What? I believe in science.
She works with autistic kids every single one of them was vaccinated.
Every single one.
There you
and
go.
That's why they're all autistic.
There's your link. Right there. It's called common. If I was Glenn Beck, I'd have a chalkboard.
You motherfucker. I would punch you in the face if you were Glenn Beck.
Really?
Yeah, right in the fucking face.
Oh, okay. I thought it would be somewhere else. So. Yeah. So
Blue Dot Mama says, I work in a hospital and I see kids that are unvaccinated. The parents don't understand how dangerous it is and how sick the kids are going to get. Like, it's all well and good, right? And somebody fucking said at one point, they're like, my kids aren't vaccinated and they're healthy, and I have a bunch of friends whose kids are vaccinated and they're sick. Case closed.
Yeah.
Case closed.
We figured it out.
You got fucking lucky for a little while. The point isn't that they're healthy now.
Well,
they're susceptible.
Not sick. It's just not. The point is, it's not sick. It's not like whether your kid gets a cold or not, or gets a stomach bug or not. It's about whether they get measles,
but it's about
or
herd
rubella,
immunity,
which is extremely. Well, the point is how easily this stuff is spread. Smallpox, which is, by the way, incredibly.
One of your favorites?
I mean, it's not one of my favorites. It's one of the most gnarly and fucked up diseases you can.
Unless.
Is it? Yeah. That's the point.
But herd immunity. So herd immunity is a big thing that gets thrown around, right? Herd immunity is if enough people in a community or a region are vaccinated, it grants kind of immunity to everybody. But once that gets punctured and there's a handful of people that don't fucking get vaccinated, it basically opens up holes and everybody can get sick again. And that's the problem. You get these fucking people, these outliers who are like, I don't believe in the government. They're putting trackers in my body. There's too much mercury. Somebody said that her husband was sending her YouTube videos about vaccinations, putting trackers
First of all, hold
in
on
your
a second.
body.
First of all, hold on. Do you know how much it costs to get a tracker put inside your body? It's a lot. I've tried to have a bunch. And
You've tried to on your kids, into your kids.
No.
Into yourself.
My body.
You want to know where you are?
Yeah, but I'm talking 42nd Street, son. So like real top-notch doctors.
So one of the big things is that the correlation between autism and this with that guy that Andrew, fucking gastroenterologist Andrew Wakefield said, is that vaccines cause autism, right? They don't. It doesn't. It's not true.
He said there was a potential link that they might.
Whatever, but this is what people have latched onto, right? So M. Laveley, vaccines don't cause autism. ASVAFAEI, it says it blows me away that people prefer a potentially dead kid to a potentially autistic one. And I wrote a blog post about this years ago where I was trying to be like diplomatic and not to say, hey, not to be like discredit all the anti-vaxxers.
Wait,
call
you
them
were
crazy.
trying to be diplomatic?
I was trying to be diplomatic. It was out of character.
Were you okay?
And instead of saying all you fuckers are wrong and you're crazy and you're idiots, I was like, I don't know if vaccines cause autism, but I would rather have a kid who's been vaccinated against the measles and fucking smallpox and polio and is autistic than have a kid who's dead because they didn't vaccinate him, right? And that's kind of the ultimately kind of what it comes down to. Like, what would you prefer? Guess what? Autism isn't a death sentence. Autism is okay. Rain Man's a fucking cool dude. I'd hang out with Rain Man. Not really.
Would you? It'd be really.
He'd be more fun to hang out with than Tom Cruise. Let me tell you that. I tell you that. Fucking. I saw that movie in the theater with my mom. I was like 12. Why was I going? I watched it again recently. Why did I see this?
And why did she take you there so many times?
No, so many times. She had a thing
and
for
then
Dustin Hoffman.
Constantly stare at you the whole time.
And then she kept making me count toothpicks. She kept dropping toothpicks on the floor trying to make me count them.
And then she's
I can't do it, Mom.
She's like, there's 3.
So,
I can see them. There's 3.
Quartzy Anna says the same thing. Is the fake risk of raising an autistic child really worth a child's life, whether it's your kid or somebody else's? KKW27 says, when people find out my son is autistic, they automatically ask me, oh, did you get the MMR vaccine? Because that probably caused this. And she's like, I did. And that's a myth, asshole.
Oh, my God. Wait. Let's back up. What the fuck happens on a daily basis? People come up to her and it's like,
she says, my kid's autistic, and people automatically ask her, oh, is it because you got them vaccinated for fucking the mumps, measles, and rubella? Fuck you, right?
People. Yeah. Well, I mean, not her. She's
regardless
gone through
of whether
enough.
you believe that, how rude is it to be like, oh, so you caused your kid to have autism? First of all, fuck you, because my kid has autism and he's fucking fine, right? Yeah. It's challenging. And I guess you would probably want a kid who's neurotypical instead of a kid with autism, but it's not that big a deal this day and age, and it's much better than having a kid who's fucking dead.
Yeah.
Second of all, you were.
Why would you go up? Why would you go up to someone?
How is that your first response? I'm sorry. Were you trying to protect the child from dying from a deadly disease?
Did you
as a fucking matter of fact, I was. Guess what? It worked.
Yeah.
Bitch. That's why you can count toothpicks on the floor.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, you didn't get...
I just fucked it all up with my stereotype there.
You didn't.
And then she goes on to mock essential oil people. I don't really get the essential oil thing. What's it supposed to do? It smells like stuff and it makes you feel better?
Yeah.
Lavender? Fuck lavender. Fuck pride. You know what movie that is? There's no
have
correlation.
You actually fuck lavender? It's a gnarly experience.
The plant?
Yeah.
Mrs. Rachel Joyce says, my daughter just got 2 shots. Ever since, my husband has been sending me Instagram videos about conspiracy theories and how the government controls population and tracks people with the vaccines.
I mean,
I'm about to kill him.
Guys, really.
But she's joking. I think she's saying her husband is sending it as a joke. If your husband's not saying that as a joke, you need a new husband, Mrs. Rachel Joyce. But that's the thing. The disinformation is so easy to get and it's so easy to spread.
I mean, okay, can I just say
Facebook just came out and said that they're not gonna stop the Trump campaign from promoting putting lies in their ads.
Yeah, right.
Cool. Thanks.
Did you? Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
And so the FCC, meaning if you wanted to run a political ad on TV or television or radio, would actually does get fact checked, but not in Facebook, which reaches a much larger audience.
So C.W. Bullard here, who's a good guy, we've had some conversations, says, I don't understand how this is a debate. Everyone should vaccinate their kids, but I don't want the government overreaching and telling people what to do or how to raise their kids. Again, the only reason people are like, everybody needs to get fucking vaccinated is because too many people aren't getting vaccinated. That's the danger.
Right.
You want government overreach, then you fuck around and you cause a fucking public health crisis, and then the government steps in.
Right.
That's the problem. Here's the guy. The PG08302 says, my son is healthy without vaccines compared to my friends' kids who all have health issues. Case closed, PG08302.
I mean, can we just...
Come on, man.
For a second, can we address the government tracking part? Okay, so let's think this through. So the government's like, all right, here, let's do this. Let's track everyone. Let's inject them with a bunch of serum. But what we could also do is just monitor their Facebook account.
Yeah, that's right. Guess what? You know exactly where the fuck they are.
A little bit cheaper for
It's fucking called Foursquare. They checked in somewhere? Guess what? You know where they are, bitch. Get a fucking iPhone.
Yeah.
Motherfucky.
Get a Huawei. You'll be all set then.
So Live Love Rodeo. Unless it's Live Love Rodeo. Maybe she loves Rodeo Drive.
She fucking loves Rodeo.
I don't know. Maybe she fucking did Jenny Garth. 90210 reference. My best friend jumped on the stupid bandwagon, and I like that, the stupid bandwagon, and believes anything against modern medicine, unless it helps her not be uncomfortable. She rants about big pharma, but takes tons of meds.
Yeah.
There's the hypocrisy.
Right. Well,
we didn't cover that in hypocritical parenting, but maybe we should.
It makes no sense. Like, if you take aspirin for a headache and you're like, big pharma's screwing everybody.
But you trust the headache stuff, just not the vaccines?
I hate doctors, but no, can you seriously take this big tumor
If they wanted to,
brain?
track us, wouldn't it be fucking easier to put it in Advil? Put a fucking tracker in Advil.
Honestly, just
guess what? Everybody's fucking taking it.
Put Florida in the water and just turn all these
fluoride.
goddamn
Put
frogs.
Florida in the water. You put Florida in the water, it's fucking chaos.
Everyone starts shooting each other, robbing convenience stores.
Rain Dancer Wild River says, reasons for not vaccinating are not fact-based. Don't put my child at risk for your poor choices. And this is where a lot of people get upset, right? It's like you're endangering. You try to make your own choices and you think you're like, oh, I'm look, why does it bother you if my kid doesn't get vaccinated? Because that's not how it works.
Right.
The vaccinations it's a communal thing. It's a society is affected by all this stuff.
I want to shout out Paul Polsky, who basically
world's
says,
biggest CFL fan,
who basically agrees with me. He says, fuck anti-vaxxers. They're right up there with flat earthers in my book. And that's thank you, Paul. Yeah. I mean,
they believe
that's sort of my point, but I appreciate that you also.
He said it a lot more succinctly than you.
What about the circle and the line that touches two ends together?
Your circle. Yeah, I like your circle analogy.
What about Little Charmer Amy?
Little Charmer 80 says that she's in the UK, I believe in Nottingham. Mm-hmm. Says that we don't have the same anti-vaxxer thing in the UK. There's a few nut jobs, but they don't hear much about it.
So this is a big thing because
they have the National Health Service where it's all fucking free.
Well, it's not a money-making thing, but also at the same time, it's not exactly the same. It hasn't taken hold in other countries like it has here in the States.
No, because we're assholes.
We are assholes, obviously. I mean, we're two prime examples of what the
key probably two of the most prominent assholes.
Yeah. But I really believe this is really the major issue with just false information being spread by fucking garbage, like through the social media, through Cambridge Analytica.
The fucking boogeyman.
I really, I work in this, and I do believe this is a big problem. This is how you do it by not regulating it. It's
BJock123 BJOC123 says, if you believe in climate change because of science, you need to believe in vaccines too. I don't know how many people that are anti-vaxxers believe in climate change.
Well, that's my point.
It's the Venn diagram. I know, but it's not one-to-one. But
my point is I can guarantee you that there's a ton of people who are anti-vaxxers who would be like, no, of course I believe in climate change. By the way, let's think about it. Portland, right? So Oregon, right? This is not a red state. This is a very, very blue state, right? That is the #1 outbreak for measles.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Colorado. Yeah, exactly. Colorado. But then there are some other places like here in
Rocky Mountain High.
In fact, there's probably more anti-vax in deeply blue states than there are red states. And
so look, there are cases.
That's something I just made up with my own brain.
There are cases where somebody will get a vaccine and will have a negative reaction to it, or like you'll hear a story of like somebody's paralyzed after getting a vaccine. Guess what? Yeah. Every once in a while, like an adverse reaction or something like that happens. Like, it's possible. Yeah. It doesn't mean you throw out the baby with the bathwater. I wish I could throw out.
Honestly, you just keep that fucking baby and you let them cry and ask for blueberry muffins whenever they want.
Mini muffins. Little bites. So Sarge, who's in the military, says, just fucking do it. Our military men don't die because they get vaccinated. They're overseas all the time exposed to shit.
Right.
If you're not going to do it, bubble boy your child, which is what my meme says. Right. The meme that I'm going to share in a few days. It's The Rock. It says, if you can, don't vaccinate your kids, but stay under your rock.
I guarantee you, if anyone's been on your Instagram account, they've seen it like 20.
No, I don't do it a lot. Little bit 1113 says the same thing. My husband is a Marine and is exposed to all sorts of shit, so of course we vaccinate. A few people were less kind than us. We're very kind. In particular, I'm very kind. K. Beth Metz said, don't be a total asshat, just vaccinate your kids. Key Off 11 says, don't be a dumbass, vaccinate your crotch goblins. April Stacy 09 is into it. She says, one word for anti-vaxxers, Darwinism, survival. But that's the problem, though. It's not just them who die and get victimized. It's all of us. C. Wolf Schlager, vaccinate those little germ-carrying fuckers. And she said duckers. She may have meant duckers. And shame anyone who doesn't. She was like, I don't want you guys giving airtime to these people. She wanted to hear us talk about circumcision. Maybe next time.
Yeah.
First World Production says, if you're an anti-vaxxer and your kid gets cancer, I think you shouldn't be able to take him to the doctor. Medical science, all or nothing. Too harsh? Maybe.
Yeah, that's too harsh.
Maybe a little too harsh.
If your kid's in trouble, you gotta help them out. But it's tough when you put your kid in a compromised position for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah, it is. You let your kid choose. Give him all the vaccinations, and then if he wants to, have them siphon the vaccinations out of him when they're over 18. Yeah. Hey, Doc, can you suck the vaccinations you gave out of me? Or just say, look, give me the measles. I'm into it. I want the measles.
How about just suck on this part right down here?
Wow.
See what happens.
Getting dark. Yeah, getting dark.
Big time.
Look, this brings out a lot of passion in a lot of people. We're not trying to mock anybody. We're just telling you, if you don't vaccinate your kids, you're going to kill all of us. Yeah. All right? That's just the fact of it. I mean, those are just facts. I did the research.
And you did. And honestly, I think you did almost 20 minutes worth of research.
It was like 11.
Okay.
It was like 11. It was one article.
I did little. I did very little.
You didn't do any. Your fucking circle analogy made no sense.
Well, I think my point was that the people who are anti-vax are not exactly.
We were going to sing an anti-vaccination song, but we couldn't come up with any. Does Weird Al have one?
We should get him. We should propose it.
Hey, Weird Al, why don't you do an anti-vaxxer anthem? You and fucking Jenny McCarthy.
All right. Did we get it? Should we move on?
We're going to move on to our the Kinder Perfect segment.
Let's transition
Kinder Perfect, Cards Against Humanity for Parents. If you go to Amazon.com or kinderperfect.com and write 20 off daddy, I'm the daddy in this question, if you didn't know, you get a discount on your order. And we're going to play a quick game, right? We're going to play it right now. All right.
Let's see it. So let's see how it goes.
So here's the card. The card is, are we ready, Nate? You're the judge. The card is, I thought we were done with blank. So now, Pete, you choose your favorite I thought we were done with. Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
All right. So am I putting a face down? All right.
All right. I'm gonna give these to my man Nate.
All right.
I thought we were done with.
All right, and then.
I thought we were done with a poop mural.
We're never done with poop mural.
No.
My kids are in potty training. They love to draw with poop on the wall.
Really? Do they touch poop?
Do you touch poop?
No. Do your kids?
Have
touch
I
poop?
accidentally touched my kids' poop?
Yeah,
Yes, I have. Is that not the question?
No. Do your kids touch poop and put it on the wall?
Not so much.
Okay.
This is a game.
So I call bullshit.
I thought we were done with pretending you're asleep so someone else will get the baby.
We're never fucking
my
done with
God.
that shit. You win
That's
this
it.
round. Nate, what do you think? I think Pete wins.
Yeah, poop mural.
Pretending. No, I didn't do poop.
I was poop mural. Pete doesn't have kids. He doesn't know how high stakes it is to pretend you're asleep so somebody else will get the baby.
You hear that kid crying, and you're not going to move because you're just waiting for the person.
You know what? You know what my wife does? We will play chicken to see who will get up and make the coffee.
I guarantee you, she just goes, just go fucking get the kid.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes. She has MS, so she can't get out of bed. So maybe that was a little rude of you.
No. I'm just saying.
Little rude of
I don't
Pete.
think so.
Maybe you should take my wife's illness,
chronic
illness,
saying that your wife
into account.
Tells you to go do something.
Kinderperfect.com, 20 off daddy, or Amazon.com, 20 off daddy. So some of the comments we got from last week.
All right, so
last week was our scheduling episode.
Episodes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Misty Bryant commented on the episode. She said, I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I'm always on high alert that I may get a call from school that my son got hurt on the playground or he's sick and I need to go get him. He also has swim Monday, Wednesday, and jiu-jitsu Thursday, Friday. I feel like an unpaid Uber driver. I've heard a lot about this Uber driver shit where parents feel like they're like chauffeurs, especially for tweens.
Right, but they're not, because here's the difference. An Uber driver is like, okay, bye.
Yeah,
and then
you're
they
right.
drive off. Here's what a fucking parent has to do. Okay,
drop them off and
do you have
sit
your
there.
socks? Mom, I don't have my fucking socks. Where are my socks?
But then you also drop the kid off, and you gotta do the calculation in your head. All right, jiu-jitsu is 30 minutes. Am I gonna leave and go home, or am I just gonna sit here in the parking lot and fuck around and listen to the Dad and Buried podcast and give it a fucking rating on Apple?
And a big time rating.
5-star fucking rating. That's what you should be doing,
Creating
Misty.
new podcasts.
Joseph
Apple
Diachason, also known as Sarge, made fun of Pete for calling it the YouTubes. He said the YouTubes, there's more than one. Pete cracks me up. He is like a grandparent learning about the internet.
So I don't know if you know this, but I just actually checked myself out of the ICU from that
check
burn.
Yourself.
From that
from that burn.
Yeah, I just got out. They said I shouldn't because I was covered in 3rd-degree burns from that.
From
YouTube.
Sarge's vicious burn.
They took one look at Sarge's YouTube comment. They said, Jesus, get this guy in the goddamn...
This is literally the cheesiest
medical.
fucking joke I've ever heard in my life.
Okay.
You're talking about getting 3rd-degree burn.
Wait, let's see.
You're the most dad of all the dads.
There we go. That's what I'm trying to do. And then we have
nailing it.
Sarah Gannat as well.
What she said. She said, I have no idea how parents function without an online calendar. Maybe it's just our family. Between a rotating work schedule and travel, but it is essential for everyone to know where the others are and who needs to get the kids from the bus or to and from daycare. Everyone has a color. I don't see color. Paper calendars would not work. Hard to edit, not visible to multiple users, would have to write the same shit over and over again. Recurring appointments for the win. See, I don't like organizing things and keeping track
Nobody
of things.
wants to hear
I
you
shouldn't have had
snapping
children.
paper.
You know what?
Yeah.
Sarah Gannat requested that I snap some paper. She
Okay.
did. Gorilla Rose says she wants to say she finds it more productive to write things by hand. I find that I remember things better if I write it down. So if somebody tells me to remember something and I write it down on a note, I no longer need the note. The act of writing it down sears it into my brain.
And by sear it, you mean, I was supposed to get that thing to Pete.
I don't put a string around my finger. I just pantomime writing.
Yeah.
Anyway, she says, I'm not a fan of calendaring in your face, Sarah Gannat. Anything. But it's a little easier for me to get into it by grabbing fun pens, and a pretty calendar and getting my weeks organized that way. I also have a lot of help because it truly does take a village. I don't like people who have help, so Gorilla Rose is banned from the podcast. First of all, my wife says this sometimes about like items of clothing. Is this fun? I'm like, no, it's a fucking shirt. It's not fun. I don't find clothing fun. I don't find fucking pens fun. Except those rainbow pens when we were kids where you could like push a different color down.
Really? Captain Marvel t-shirts?
Did I ever call them fun? They're fucking hot. HOTT.
No.
Hot as fucking fuck.
Yeah.
My
Your
Thor,
wife is unbelievably
shirt.
lucky.
You know, we got 2 kids.
Yeah.
It at least happened
And like I
twice, and
said-
it was both times I was wearing a fucking Marvel shirt.
Yeah.
HOTT.
Yeah. Good if she would have been
So
awake.
we also talked about kids' TV shows like
Oh
a
my God.
year or two ago.
Yeah.
Paul Opalski, aka the world's biggest CFL fan, says when my son first watched Blippi, I Googled him to learn more as I'd never
This
heard of
is
him.
the
You know
best.
what, Paul? Maybe if you were a more attentive father, you would know more about your kid. And
Well,
you wouldn't have to Google him.
Oh, guess what?
Oh, he was Googling Blippi. I thought he was saying I'd
yeah.
never heard of my son.
Yeah. Okay, Dad jokes.
You get it?
Yeah, we get it.
BuzzFeed News reported that before starting his show on YouTube, Blippi was a comedian known as Steezy Grossman, who made his own Harlem Shake video in which he literally shits on his naked friend. It's disturbing now that he's now a hero to kids.
You know what? I need to say thank you to Paul for bringing this up because holy shit, what a revelation. Blippi.
You know what I'm not going to do? Google Steezy Grossman Harlem Shake video. He shits on his naked friend like he takes a shit on his friend? Or it was like shit that he had and put on his friend? That's what I want to know. Paul, if you need another
Was it in a
cameo,
jar?
hit me up. A bunch of babies said, I can't believe Dora the Explorer wasn't mentioned.
We did
My kids
mention it.
love that show, and as annoying as it can be, it's really interactive, and I like that for them. My kids saw the Dora Explorer movie, which is live action, and she's in high school now.
Any good?
And supposedly it was pretty good. It's like meta, and it makes fun of the fact that it's interactive.
Yeah.
I never watched the show. I don't have girls, and it was kind of past its prime by the time my kids were of age.
Okay. Super macho A-type, I guess.
And
Hetero.
we've done the rest of these
Man.
already. Once again, you fucked up and you didn't delete the old shit. This is all old shit we talked about. God damn it. You know what? You're worse than anti-vaxxers.
All right. Well, there you go. I'm worse than anti-vaxxers.
You know what? Next week, when I say, hi, I'm Mike, known as Dad and Barry, you say, hi, I'm Pete, and I'm worse than anti-vaxxers. That's your stupid little intro that you're going to do.
And
So
I'm
look, we
worse
did our controversial
than-
topic. I don't know what you guys think. There's a very good chance when we tag this thing anti-vax,
we'll be
some
shut
people
down.
will be upset.
No, we shut down.
So that's why we need more and more positive ratings, because when the anti-vaxxers get wind of this, they're gonna show up and they're gonna be like, you know what? I've had too much fucking mercury in my veins, and I'm going goddamn nuts and write negative reviews.
Microplastics.
So we
everywhere.
need your help. Next week, guess what? Halloween episode.
Oh.
We're going to be talking about Halloween. That's what I meant by Halloween episode. We're going to want to know what costumes your kids are wearing. Do you do family costumes?
Halloween's
Pete
1 through
refuses
7.
to participate, right? You don't do the family costume thing?
We don't know. We're gonna
No,
wait.
but you said before you don't do that, right?
Yeah. But I mean, we're leading in. We're teasing the.
My
the
son
next
is
episode.
being Spider-Man. It's a really legit Spider-Man costume, but now my wife is like at a loss as to how everyone else fits in.
Do the multiverse. Come on. Easy.
No, but then we have to. I don't want to wear a mask. I'm not wearing a mask. This I'm way too pretty.
Oh my God!
Way too pretty
you just
for
have
a
to
mask.
buy sweatpants and a Spider-Man
Guess
t-shirt.
what? Already own them. Both. Already own both. Why do you think we have 2 kids? Fucking
there you go.
Spider-Man, t-shirt and sweatpants.
I'm
2
not
kids. Boom.
Organizing your Halloween.
Who
All right.
needs IVF?
I do right now. Thank you.
You even know what IVF is? Why would you say that?
I've had so much of it already. It's
It's
so good.
offensive to people. Maybe we'll do that next time
Perfect.
after the Halloween episode. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Bye.
I don't know why you would still be watching this. Isn't a Marvel movie, no matter how much I look like Paul Rudd, which you can deny it all you want. It's there in the eyes, I think. I'm young looking like him. If you enjoyed the podcast, which you obviously did or you wouldn't be listening still, sign up on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you want to listen to. Comment here on YouTube, subscribe, hit that like button. We want to hear from you. Comments, questions, dirty jokes, money, all the money you can give us. We'd love it all. Catch you next time.